Hey everyone, Duke Nougat 3D here again with another item from my collection. And today I have my Swiss SM-74 protective mask. And this is again another mask in my collection which I have very little to nothing for it. But this one is a bit of an improvement from the last two masks I reviewed because I actually have the filter for this one. So the Swiss SM-74 was an improvement to the older SM-53, I believe, or GM-53 rather, as it was mostly called, from the 1950s. Really the only difference between the two masks was the harness itself. It was simplified with the SM-74, and of course the SM-74 used a directly mounted snout canister rather than using a long hose and it's not really a coffee can, I can't really say, because it isn't. I don't know how to describe the older Swiss filters, but there's a lot of filtering material on the outside. There's not a metal shell, so I can't really call it a coffee can, but it's a large filter nonetheless. So the SM-74 was used pretty much from the 1970s and into potentially the 90s, when it was eventually phased out with the SM-3 and more popularly the SM-90 masks, which are still in use today with the Swiss military, as far as I know. And the SM-74 continues to flood eBay and the surplus market, commonly being misidentified as a German gas mask, but more often than not coming as a full, complete set with all of its major accessories, which sadly is not the case for mine. I'm missing the carrier, anti-fog inserts, and usually it'll come with a set of cheap plastic chemical gloves and I think some other thing, but I don't remember what it is. But these, like the Czech CM4, are a very, very simple, but yet at the same time very durable gas mask. But that is where the similarities end, as this mask takes a whole entirely different approach. And for a military gas mask, it's alright, but it really feels something that would be more issued towards civilians or civil defense. It doesn't. It's a very, very lightweight mask. It doesn't feel as sturdy as a military mask should be. Not to say that anything's bad quality. No, not that. It's just the fact that the mask itself feels not loose, but just flimsy. Not in a bad way, but just in a way that you wouldn't expect a military mask to feel. I can't really describe it very well through camera here. You'd really have to be holding one yourself to be able to really know what I'm talking about, but nonetheless, it's a very well-designed mask, and it has, again, one of my favorite features a gas mask can have, which is the ability to completely disassemble it, every single part, in order to replace, repair, or simply maintain and clean the mask. The lenses are threaded, so you can unscrew the lenses and replace them. Like, you could put some tinted ones in there easily if you wanted to. The outlet valve is located in the front center. This is not a voice diaphragm. The interesting thing about this outlet valve is the cage is actually molded into the face piece. There's not a separate outer piece, or the valve is not independent of the mask itself. The valve seat is pretty much just held in a coupling, like a sleeve sort of deal built into the mask, held in by a rubber lip on the inside back that you can basically push from the outside and remove from the inside. I believe there are some anti-fog insert retainers that my mask is missing as well. I'm not entirely sure. There is the Swiss military, or I guess the Swiss flag logo on the forehead. It is a 5-point harness design, which is unfortunate because that is one of the worst choices you can make in a gas mask design, is making it 5-point, unless it's a very thick, broad top strap, which in this case is not, but it's not the worst 5-point harness. Compared to the CM4, this one's a bit more tolerable, mainly because the top strap is elasticated, and again, it's a very lightweight mask. There's not a whole lot of pressure on your face, especially if you're using this mask with a hose. So, and I would always recommend doing that with masks like these. On the side here, you can see the facepiece stamps. Mine is made in 1984 by Huber and Soner. I believe I'm pronouncing that wrong, but forgive me. And I believe this is the size stamp right here. I could be very wrong. I don't know what that is exactly, but I am assuming it is the size stamp of size 2, perhaps. given that there are two circles. The harness is interesting, or the buckles rather, because instead of clipping on or just being attached in most ways that a removable harness buckle would be attached, like by a peg, or these ones have a screw holding them onto rubber blocks molded into the mask, and it's very interesting. It would be a problem in the field if those would ever become loose, so that's like the one problem I can see with that, but other than that, it's not really an issue. The inlet valve can accept, again, both 40mm GOST and Stanag NATO threads. It is held in place not by a clamp, not by wire and tape, but with a spring. I don't understand the purpose of this. It certainly makes it a bit easier to remove this component than, say, having to deal with wire and tape or even a clamp. But a spring, I don't really see the practicality in that. I see that as something that could easily get rusted, or decontamination solution could easily get trapped in between that, and just dirt can, of course, will easily get trapped in that as well. So I don't understand their choice in using a spring. That's kind of not a good idea in my opinion, but whatever, it works, I guess. I will show you the harness here, which again is very simple. It is a rubberized fabric pad that's smooth, no texturing on the back of it like the checks do. Just simple, thin elastic, stretchy. It holds its position. Nothing much to it. That's about it externally for the mask. I do have the filter with it, like I said. This is one of the typical ones you'll see that come in those green clamshell type containers. There are earlier ones which are weird because they have threads on the other end of it, which kind of remind me of like Russian filters, but I don't understand the purpose in the case of Swiss filters, why they would need an extra set of female threads on the other end of the canister, but whatever. I'll do something rare here and screw it onto the mask to show you. I don't always do that in my videos. In fact, I don't even think I ever do it in my videos, but whatever, there you go. So I will show you the inside of the mask, and I will wrap up the video for you. And here we go. The interior of the mask is very, very simple. There really wasn't a whole lot needed here. It is very comfortable for how simple it is. There's no interned periphery seal. However, there are no rivets either to worry about due to the harness being screwed on. You can see the outlet valve throughout the center here. And one of the flaws of this mask is this hole right here above the inlet valve. This was to accommodate more air to enter your, to reach your mouth better, in addition to the TSO deflectors. However, if you have a case where you're vomiting in the mask, or there's a lot of sweat or drool, that could easily get trapped in there and cause mold. And so I guess that's why they designed it with a spring to easily remove, to like facilitate removal of the inlet valve so that you can get into that area and be able to dry that out properly. But still, it's really a solution to a problem that never should have existed. I just don't think this whole setup was a good idea with that hole there. It would have been fine enough with the TSO deflectors, and that's it. Speaking of which, it doesn't need an oronasal cup because this mask is designed so that the lenses sit so close to your face, there really isn't any chance of exhaled air going back up and fogging the lenses. It is very, very close to your face, like pretty much on par with like an optical mask. However, it has relatively normal sized lenses. They're smaller than like say a GP5 or something like that, but they really don't need to be that big considering that they are just mere like less than half an inch away from your face, if not less. So pretty comfortable, but pretty simple affair. Like I said, the rubber on this mask is kind of on the thinner side, about as thick as like a GP5 almost, I guess, but not to say that it's bad quality. I'm sure that it'll hold its ground just fine. It's just, again, it does not feel that much like a military mask at all. It feels like something that was made for civilians, for civil defense. But whatever, it's a nice mask, and for $30 to $50, it's not that bad a price either. The Swiss makes some really nice quality stuff, and this is no exception for, the flaws that it does have, which are kind of few. It doesn't need to be more than what it needs to be. So that's pretty much it. If you're interested in buying one of these, they're very, like I said, very easy to find on eBay and most surplus websites. So I recommend you pick one up as a beginner mask, if nothing else. So I'm Duke Nukem 3D. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns relating to this mask, as always, drop them in the comment section, and I will see you all later.